Hi, I'm Elise and I'm the owner of Spa Elise, and I wanted to share my business story. Lately on the podcast, what I've been covering is I talked about like my journey of entrepreneurship. I talked about my my views on like one of the most valuable parts of a startup and coming up with a meaningful purpose-driven why of your mission statement. I introduced you to my spa. I took you downstairs. I showed you my space. We talked about skincare products. We talked about the nail products that I use in the spa, and then I've done a makeup tutorial for aging skin with the products that I use and highly recommend. And then I just posted my story and my why and overcoming the patriarchy, and this is kind of more of my personal journey of where I've come from, why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I'm heading, what my goals are, my why, like my mission, and why I'm here and why I'm showing up the way that I am and what I'm doing and where I want to go and what my vision is, essentially. And then today I wanted to talk about my business story. So, like I've mentioned before, I've been an entrepreneur on and off, dabbled in a couple of different creative fields. And then in 2022, after my fourth child was born, I would always do my own nails, or I would go get my nails done, and I was pretty consistent about it. I would go get my nails done like every 2 weeks, and I just had this idea, like, maybe I should just go get a nail tech license so that I can just do my own nails. That's where it started. The desire actually started with just like purely for myself. Like I don't even think that I intended to make a business out of it. I don't think I even intended to like make money off of this license. I literally went for myself. Like, I'm not joking. I went and got a nail tech license to do my own nails. I'm so glad that I did, because I learned some really scary things in school that I was like, uh-oh, and I've met a lot of people like in real life that have told me these horror stories, and so I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I know what I'm doing, because I don't have problems, my skin, and I don't react, because like I know how to do it right, and other people, and if I wouldn't have gone to school, I would be one of them, like get cheap products online and off the internet, and don't do it properly or experience overexposure from these really cheap, really toxic products that do not belong on our bodies, and then now they can't get their nails done. And so that's just really tragic. So I'm just so glad that I didn't do that. I'm so glad that I went to school and learned so that I didn't go down that route, because like I don't know what I would do without my nails. Like this is such a huge part of my identity. Like so anyway, I went to school purely for personal selfish reasons, and while I was there I was like, no, I think I'm gonna just start doing this as a side hustle. At the time I think I knew I was gonna get a divorce, but at the same time I didn't quite accept that as my reality quite yet. I was still in denial. I was still in the denial phase of like knowing where I was going, but not wanting to accept it yet. I decided while I was in school that I wanted to do this to make money. And I learned like, nail techs can actually make a decent amount of money. And so I just decided, you know what, like I'm just going to start doing it whenever I can. At this time, my ex-husband was starting his business, and so like he was also super, super, super busy, as he was our whole entire marriage. And so I knew that like I knew I wouldn't be able to throw myself completely entirely into this business. I knew that I had limits. There was only so much that I could do. I could only schedule appointments when my ex was able to be here and watch the kids, because like I said, I had a 1-year-old, I had a 2-year-old, I had a 3-year-old, and then I had like a 6-year-old. So it was like not realistic for me to be taking clients while I was here alone with my kids. And it wasn't like I couldn't take clients as often as I would like. I wasn't able to full send into this entrepreneurship and small business as much as I would have liked to at the beginning for those reasons. Like I had a lot holding me back. Well, I just didn't have the support. My ex vocalized to me that he knew that this was just a temporary thing, that it was just a phase and I would like grow out of it or whatever. And so like he knew better than to like support me in making this like a real thing. It's been 3 years. It's been over 3 years now that I've been running Spa Elise. This will be considered like one of my businesses and probably my longest standing business. While I was in nail school, guys, I thought I was going to do liquid and powder enhancements, which is a fancy way of saying acrylic. And I learned in nail school that I actually am allergic to it. I don't know how, and I don't know if I developed this allergy while I was in school or how. I just never realized it before. Prior to school, I don't remember having an allergy, but it was while I was in school that I developed an allergy to liquid and powder enhancements, and I would just have a huge reaction anytime that I was on the nail floor, which was pretty much every day that I was there. I went part-time. I did the part-time night school program, which was so nice. I was with other like working moms, working women, and we were all there to just like hustle and work hard. And most of us were very career driven, very alpha female, very like, we're serious about this. We want this to be our lifestyle, our livelihood, our career. And so I have so much respect for the girls that I went to school with. They were and are like, I cheer for them. I still cheer for them every day. Just baddies, and love them. So while I was in nail school and I developed this allergy, I was like, okay, so can't do liquid and powder enhancements. And we were also learning gel and hard gel, builder gel, soft gel. It wasn't until after school that I discovered luminary, and that's what I do now. But gel was kind of where I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with gel. Now in nail school, we had a big nail project and we had to design a nail set, and it had to be kind of a big deal. And I decided to do 3D nail art. Learned how to do nail art in school, and for the first long while, if I'm being so honest, like I was so bad at nail art that I had ultimately determined that I wasn't going to be a nail artist and that I wouldn't offer nail art as one of my services, add-ons. And I decided that while I was in nail school, and by the time I graduated, I was kind of still in that mindset. Although I did decide while in nail school that I was going to practice nail art every single day. And then after I graduated, I would practice nail art every single night. And so I would go down to the basement for an hour, and that was my me time. And I would be down there and I would be designing and practicing nail art, and I would be designing new sets and practicing new nail art sets. And I did that every single night until I felt like I was good. But then I would also have my clients send me the design that they wanted before their appointment so that I could practice it before they came. While I was in nail school, one, I wanted to do this as a side hustle just to make some extra cash. Two, I would not be a nail artist. And three, I probably wouldn't turn this into like a business. I would just be doing this on occasion, just like every once in a while. After nail school, after I graduated, I mastered nail art, made that one of my specialties. I offer that. I actually market as like a specialty nail artist. I specialize in nail art. I own an LLC. My business is Spa Elise LLC. I am a business. I am registered. I am licensed. I am insured. I have a whole chunk of my house that is designated to this business, and invested in all these products. Now I only offer Luminary. I transitioned to Luminary. As soon as I tried it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sold. Just do Luminary and then gel polish manicures. And I learned about the product, the Valentino Beauty Pure. I learned about that in nail school. Somebody talked about it as like being one of the bougie products. Like I wanted to have good products. That was probably one of my top priorities, is to make sure that I was not putting cheap, dangerous, toxic chemicals on my clients, especially as a new artist. Like, you do make a mess a lot, and you'll get it on your client's skin a lot, and you'll get it on yourself a lot. And so I kind of eliminated all of the products that I decided were toxic and kind of set those aside and invested in like the good stuff for that reason, just for safety purposes and for health, and just to create a buffer for when I do accidentally like touch it to my client's skin. So anyway, so that's why I went with the products that I went with and why I'm sticking with them. After a year of doing nails, I was like, I want to do more, because it was actually while I was in nail school, in the beauty school that I went to for nails, we had students from other programs in our class just for a short time, because estheticians learn nails and cosmetologists learn nails, and they learn like the basics. So I had some SDs in my class, and I had some cos students in my class. I learned while I was in school, like, I'm actually like way more interested in skin. And I think it was when we were in that section of our coursework, like, you wouldn't think that a nail tech would learn about skin, but we did. I was in it was like a master class that was taught by a dermatologist. I was like, this is just so interesting. I just realized like I was just so much more interested in skin. And it was while I was there that I was introduced to a Utah medical grade skincare line. You know, I purchased some products, fell in love with their products, and I just realized, and I also have like major skin concerns. So I just was like, you know what? I don't even know why I went to nail school. I do my own nails. Like, why am I here? I should be doing esthetician school, because that's what I'm more interested in. I ended up going to a different beauty school for a master esthetician license, and it was the best thing that has ever happened to me. It was so good for me. Oh my gosh. So I decided to do that to add on to my current salon. So at the time, it was Salon Elise. All I did was nails, and I wanted to add on to those services. And so I kept taking my clients, and I kept building my clientele slowly, little by little. At the time, like, I had my clientele, I had my nail business going, but I wanted to add, and I wanted to do more. Like, I am genuinely interested in skin. And so I went back to school to get my master esthetician license. And while I was there, like, what I went there for was specifically skin and massage and makeup. Those were my three main interests when I went to school. I ended up, while I was in school, realizing that I'm naturally good at lashing. And I think it's because of the precision involved in nail technology that was just I was able to transfer that skill over to lashing, like, a lot more fluidly than the other girls did. Most of the other girls really struggled with lashing, didn't like it, didn't want to take lash clients. I did not expect to like it. That was another thing that I, like, when I picked it up, I was like, dang, I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I do, but I do. I really enjoy lashing. You would be surprised to learn that giving a facial is just as relaxing as receiving one. I love prepping for facials, and I look forward to my facials. I look forward to my facial clients because it is so soothing. I actually decided that I would not do waxing, and I would not offer waxing when we first did waxing in school. It stressed me out so much. It was one of the most stressful experiences, and I did not expect I did not anticipate that level of stress. However, by the end, we had a master class on waxing. It was so incredibly valuable. I decided that I wanted to do Brazilians because I was good at it, because I learned a cool technique that works, is efficient, is effective. And also, like, I know that there are probably a lot of waxers that are not willing to offer that service. And I also decided that I would also offer manzilians, which is also a rare, more rare to find. That's what I decided while I was in school, even though initially it's kind of like nail art. Initially, I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. I will not offer waxing. And then decided that I would. Initially, I decided I wanted to offer full body, but now I don't. I focus on Brazilian, manzilian, and underarm or eyebrows. I love doing makeup. Makeup is so fun. It's very challenging. It's very tricky. And that is a service that I offer in my spa, is makeup artistry, on spot makeup artistry for weddings or photos or whatever. Okay, so when I went into my program, I was like, I will not ever allow them to do a chemical peel on my face, and I thought that I would have that opportunity to decline. Learned that I did not have that option to decline, but also overcame that fear, because something that I realized and learned is that a lot of my fears were based on one single person's poor experience, and how their poor experience actually was a result of their bad and poor decisions, and that the aftercare of chemical peels really does matter. And so somebody who goes into a chemical peel thinking that it's no big deal if they go get the chemical peel and then like go lay out in Mexico for 3 days straight, like that it's not going to be a problem. It is. And your esthetician tells you that, and they mean it. Chemical peels, especially and only when done by somebody who's licensed and qualified, and doing it by the book, or educated on proper after service care, making sure that you follow those rules, because they are very, very important. You could end up with really messed up skin if you don't follow those rules. So I have done some chemical peels on myself just over the last year since graduating, and I like the results. I'm not a chemical peel girly personally, but it is a service that I've decided that I will offer, even though initially I don't think that I was going to. So yeah, that is a service that I offer in my spa, is chemical peels. After graduating, okay, that was kind of like my school journey, and like how and why I ended up choosing the services that I did for after I graduated. And I always knew that I wanted to go solo. We call it going solo, and that's where you work independently. And I knew going into school, I decided after school I was going to go solo, and I did full send. After school, I full sent. I went and got that business license, the LLC, insurance, and built up my space, like added to my overhead. I've made some minor shifts here and there. I wanted to do women's retreats, and I still want to do women's retreats, and maybe I still will, maybe in the summertime. I did my first daytime women's retreat last year, and that was pretty epic. And I want to do more moving forward. I decided to pull out of that for now, just with what I'm currently focusing on with my education journey. Now I would consider myself more of like an established spa out here where I live, and I have my clientele. It does build. It builds all the time. I try not to build it too much because I don't want to be too overwhelmed and too busy with what I'm doing, and because school is my priority. I would say before being an entrepreneur, I would say my number one is being a full-time student. Transitioning from Salon Elise to Spa Elise, and adding these new services, trying them out, shifting, pivoting, changing it up, just over this last year. Because by the time I graduated, I had been a salon for 2 years, and then and now I've been a spa for over 1 year now. So altogether, I've been doing Salon Elise / Spa Elise for over 3 years now. That's my business story. That's where I'm at right now, and that's where I'm going to be for a few more years. I'm going to keep my shop open, and I'm going to keep taking my clients. So that's it. That's my business story. That's my startup. That's how I started. That was my journey. That was how I discovered what I wanted to focus on. That was how I discovered what services I wanted to offer. That's how I discovered kind of how I wanted to run things around here. And I'm a one-man show. I work alone. I have had people ask if they can share my space with me. I've had people ask if they can work with me, under me. I work alone. Mostly my mission is just to build a community of really great women. I live in Utah, so my clientele base is mostly non-LDS, ex-LDS, mostly not from Utah. So I would have to say almost every single one of my clients is not from Utah. And so that's kind of like the type of people that I attract. If that's you, if you feel like that's your vibe, and if you're interested in any of my services, go ahead and reach out to me and we can schedule an appointment, see if this is a good fit, because I think that the personality compatibility matters when it comes to your beautician. Finding the person that you vibe with can really make or break your experience. So anyway, thanks for listening to my business story, and I'm going to wrap it up now. Let me know if you have any questions, and we can tackle those questions in a different episode.